everyone. Welcome back to the Integrative Health Podcast with Dr. Jen. Today, we're going to talk about skin and skincare, which I love. And, all of us, it's very pertinent to everyone taking care of our skin. So we have Debbi Barber with us today. She's a highly successful entrepreneur and co-founder of the innovative Vitali Regenerative Skin Care company. After 37 years as the head of a direct marketing firm serving global nonprofit brands, Debbi embraced the opportunity to come out of retirement and create a product that she believed would benefit countless individuals. And her inspiration to develop this product stemmed from her experience with peptides and their remarkable effects on her health and skin. Dr. Suzanne Turner, one of the leading authorities in the field of peptide research, was Debbi's mentor and teacher, introducing her to GHK-Cu, which is GHK Copper, as an effective way to treat crepey skin. With her husband's admiration for the GHK Copper incredible healing powers, Debbi set out to create a more cost-effective, high-quality product of this blue peptide that could be accessible to all. Through extensive research and study, Debbi has been recognized as an expert in peptides and optimization of skin and health. She now serves as a resource in her weekly blog posts, which are greatly appreciated by skincare enthusiasts and professionals around the world. It is thanks to Dr. Turner that Debbi has been able to make her dream happen, and she continues her journey towards helping others achieve healthy, radiant skin with Vitali Regenerative Skin Care. So I love it, and everyone that listens knows I love peptides, so we're going to geek out. Yeah, welcome, Debbi. And I can't believe you came out of retirement. You look like so young.
Tell us 67. 67.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I was retired for a very short time because I found a passion that I wanted to share. Dr. Turner, who is a wonderful physician, regenerative medicine specialist, and she had already helped me with several peptides. GHK-Cu was just like icing on the cake. I was using tesamorelin, which was to help build muscle and reduce fat. GHK, can't get out GHK out of my mind. CJC,
Okay.
Another wonderful peptide. I had some injuries, so I used BPC 157, which helped. So I was really seeing success using peptides on my whole body. Yes. And one day I just said, Dr. Turner, what have you got for crepey skin? And that is when she said, well, I can tell you what I use. I use GHK-Cu. I can write you a prescription. You can get it at the compound pharmacy. And I was so excited. I thought, this is based on my experience with peptides. And so I had this foam from the compound pharmacy. It wasn't a lovely experience as far as, you're putting foam on your skin. But after about 6 weeks, I started seeing some changes. I started seeing smoothing. I started seeing, things that I had not seen with many other high-priced, top quality products. And so, long story short, after purchasing this 3 times from the compound pharmacy, I thought, now what if this had organic ingredients? What if it had hyaluronic acid? What if it had brown algae? Just started dreaming what would be, the perfect combination in a formula. And so my husband, who's got a very entrepreneurial spirit, said, we're going to do this. And one of the reasons, so many of my friends, my tennis buds and all, they had never heard of GHK-Cu. They weren't familiar because I kept saying, you haven't heard of this? Why aren't you using this? And so I wanted to make it available. So within 6 months, wonderful organic chemist, Dr. Turner helping, advising, we started Vitali. And now we've expanded the products to it. We have a serum and an eye cream, and our newest, new is a body cream that people are just loving. I don't know if you can see the blue color.
It's so pretty and blue, and that's
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes,
it's copper, which the body needs. In the serum, I just have to show. It is really beautiful, beautiful blue. And then we have eye cream, and we added bakuchiol oil and a squalane oil. So we've expanded as we see the need and customer feedback. So that's kind of how I got started, my own crepey skin.
Yes, and peptides are this like hidden thing, right? I mean, because
They are.
conventional medicine, they don't know about it. And it takes a lot to really be more of an expert on peptides. You have to know about them and read, and it's not like you're just gonna go out and find a blog article. Well, yours we will, but it's kind of like this world that you have to open your eyes to. And I love giving peptides to my patients because they're such a game changer. And like you were saying, the tesamorelin, so CJC,
Oh,
ipamorelin, we use now more the CJC and the ipamorelin. And I spoke about that in a previous podcast. It's a game changer for muscle health,
it is.
for sleep. I sleep like a baby when I take it. So I think this whole world of peptides, like you said, BPC 157. But then when we look at GHK copper peptide, wound healing, this is amazing with wound healing.
Yes.
And I had a patient who was misdiagnosed at a few urgent cares and had, oh gosh, this like candida yeast turned into a cellulitis infection, and it was really bothering him. And I'm like, we're going to get you on some copper peptides and put the cream down there. So, and with a little KVP. So
Right.
yeah, so KVP works great for inflammation. So we did that and it was gone within a week. And he was like, thank you.
Isn't
Why
that wonderful?
Right, right. And why? Well, everyone's probably like, well, why does no one talk about? Well, because it's not a pharmaceutical, right? But yeah,
That's the answer.
yeah, and so they can't, make billions. But when we talk about this molecule for skin, so works well for wound healing, but also helps with skin. So can you go into the nerdy science a little bit for what it does exactly?
Absolutely. And I'll quote Dr. Turner because she explained it to me the first time the best way. It goes into your stem cells and says, act younger. It actually goes in and transforms. And one of the things I'm working on that will be in my blog Thursday is about how copper peptides actually impact senescent cells,
Mm.
which, those are those awful cells that they don't die, they stay there and they spew factors that are bad and they hurt your skin and your body. And GHK-Cu actually helps prevent them. And that's something I've been really studying on all the ways it actually helps repair DNA. I
Mm.
mean, I get so excited and giddy over what this peptide does that I put on my skin twice a day. So it goes in and works at a different level. It doesn't puff up, or it's not one of these things you put on and you feel you in a week you look great. But if you stay with it, it can transform your skin.
Yeah, I've heard it called before liquid Botox.
Yes, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and it does. And I before now I'm using your products before I got the compounded gel. And
Yes.
and yeah, you're like, what is in here? It's probably like mineral oil and stuff. So that's why I was so excited to find out about your line, because it's organic ingredients. But yeah, this is a great product because like you said, it's repairing DNA. It's
Yes.
helping inflammation. It's healing the skin from the inside out. So when we look at peptides, they're working with your body. We're not just adding something to your body. They're turning on different cellular processes. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's why peptides are so great. And I get so excited about them because there's not going to be side effects.
No.
And now, well, let's talk about that. So if you would bathe yourself in GHK-Cu, or you were doing topical plus IV treatments, there's a chance you could get a little copper overload. But at this percentage and using it, twice a day, you're not going to get that. So that's
Dr. Turner, that's a great point. That is something people worry about, toxicity. And the way you would see that would be blue in the luna of your nails. And Dr. Turner, who she does inject and she does many, she uses it for her patients for hair, hair growth, etc. And she said she's never seen the toxicity. So I think it would be, I'm not saying it can't happen, but you would have to use a lot of copper to do that.
Yeah, you'd have to go a little crazy with it. And especially with it. So copper and zinc, they play off of each other in the body. So especially with the last couple of years, people are taking so much zinc that
Yes.
their copper is actually low. So your body
Yes.
probably like, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for that.
Well,
But
it's responsible for so many processes in your body. I mean, copper is just a beautiful molecule, peptide.
it is. And that's what's so cool about it. I mean, like, I'm sorry, but like, I want my face to look young. I want it to age well, right? So peptides for vanity are okay also because
Absolutely.
yeah, it's helping your DNA. This isn't just how you look. This is actually healing the skin. And we all know those people that look, their skin doesn't look good. It looks leathery. It doesn't look healthy, but think about their insides. That's reflecting, right? So definitely, inside out and healing is the way to go when you approach skincare, from what I've found.
Absolutely. Well, I think having healthy skin is beautiful skin. I mean, that's if it's healthy, and this helps make it healthy. And the other beautiful thing about it, and it's probably one of the most important, it really protects you from DNA and damage from UV. And so in the morning, I know it's good to have just a little sunlight, not in the middle of the day or anything like that. So I go do the walk with the dog with just the serum. I put the serum, and this is at 7, because I know that having just a little bit of sunshine. But after 9 o'clock, it is, the copper peptides and then the sunscreen, the mineral sunscreen. But it does protect, and that's 90%, 80 to 90% of aging comes from the UV damage. And so it's so important to protect yourself and your hands, always your hands. Like I
Oh,
keep it in my car because you get,
right. Yes. Did you see that post going around about the lady that's like a carnivore and she's like 80 years old and she looks 40?
I have seen one.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
So
Yes, yes.
I was reading the comments and someone's like, you can tell her age by her hands. And you can't, like, that's, I just love that you brought up that point about our hands, because they're always exposed to the sun. And yes, we need vitamin D conversion, but some of these people are getting like crazy. It's like, yes, it's good to be out in the sun for 30 minutes to an hour a day, but when you're baking and you're on vacation for hours, you need to just protect your skin a little bit. So
Absolutely.
people they go crazy with some of these like health things they say. I like to be in the middle. I'm not like hysterical either way. So I love that, get a little bit of the sun in the morning on the walk, and then you put your mineral sunscreen on. So that's great. But you know what though, I'm glad that you just mentioned the hands, because I really don't put skincare products on my hands, and I probably should start
Me too.
in my 40s. What?
You need to.
I
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. My hands aged. In fact, I had a dermatologist before I was using the products. The GHK said your hands and your face do not match. Your hands look so much older. So I've been putting the copper peptides twice a day on my hands, which you can do after you apply to your face. You can take what's left over, but then I keep it in the car. I keep a little bit in the car because that sun, when you're driving, I mean, you can see this side of you gets more sun. And so I've gone a little overboard with it, because I did laser with the copper peptides to help clean it up. Like I needed to do something drastic, and they look night and day. They really do, but they were aging me.
Right. I like that you brought up laser too. So for hair, so I'll do laser to create like microchannels in the scalp, and then I'll have the patient bring in their GHK copper, their peptide, their oil in, or foam, whatever they prefer, and then we'll put that in. So yeah, it's also great for the hair for the same kind of reasons. It's decreasing inflammation, improving the health of the scalp.
And it actually, wherever there's a follicle, it will grow hair. I have grown eyebrows, eyelashes. I used to use Latisse on my eyelashes, and now I use the eye cream, or put just a little dot of serum at the lash line, and it really works. It's exciting, because I did not have eyebrows. before I started doing this.
So you put it on the serum right on the eyebrow?
I put the serum and the eye cream. Some people just use I had someone tell me just last week that her hairdresser was like, "What are you doing? You have eyebrows."
Mhm.
And she said, "I've been using Vitali eye cream." So she's been putting the eye cream. And I told her you can put a little serum too. You can put both. And then using your ring finger, apply the eye cream up to the lash line. You don't get it in your eyes. You don't need to get it on your eyelashes. Just put it up to the lash line, and it will help encourage growth of your eyelashes.
That's
So
great.
it's another wonderful thing that it does.
Yeah, and naturally, because Letitia's kind of scary.
It changes the color of your eyes.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, that's DNA changing in a bad
Right.
way.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing with women, especially if we're using all these toxic products on our skin. I mean, it's absorbing into your body. It's not just staying on your skin. So we have to be really careful when we look at skincare. And we do natural aesthetics here at my office too. So we're always into what's help healing your body, not just,
Absolutely.
not breaking down the skin. Because a lot of skincare, it breaks down the skin, harsh chemicals, and it's just not good for long term. There's no
Not good
longevity.
for your hormones either. I mean, it
Yes.
messes with your hormones. There's so many things that even if there's a few good ingredients, you have to look to see, but is there something that's going to harm me? And then it's not worth it. So
Mhm.
that's why we are natural, organic, no parabens, no color, no fragrance. And I mean, I love fragrance, but I don't want it on my skin. I don't want it in my skincare.
Mm-mm. Definitely no. Yeah, I have a 15-year-old and I have to tell her, I'm like, whatever product you want, I can find a cleaner version.
Right.
We just have to do that. And we got her, I don't know if you've heard of like Dime. They have perfume. It's perfume, but it's not fragrance. So it's safer. Is it perfect? No. If I would just have her wear patchouli essential oils if I could, right?
Correct. Yes.
But there's some compromise when it comes to that
Absolutely.
with
Absolutely.
kids. But definitely, yes, no parabens. We should not be putting endocrine disruptors on our face anymore. In
Mm.
2023, we should not be doing that anymore.
No,
It's
absolutely.
it's terrible. So yeah, I love talking about, how good it is for the skin. It's going to help your skin. This is why these peptides are important. So I know that you were talking about you have a blog that
Yes.
you use about the science and the application of your formulas. Can you give our audience a sneak peek about what's next on there?
Well, it is the senescent cells because I'm so excited about the fact that it helps. There are products out there that talk about it, but this helps prevent them. And they wreak havoc on your skin. They cause so many problems, aging, wrinkles, and the way GHK, one of the things that they discovered just in 2010, when they were doing this, was at Harvard, the study on gene regulation, and they discovered there were molecules that could up and down regulate your genes, the DNA. And GHK-Cu was one of the ones that there were over 50 instances where it up and down regulated. It helped with antioxidants. It helped, the stem cells. It helped repair DNA. It helped fibroblast. It helps actually with the protein in the stem cells. I mean, it's unbelievable what this can do that you don't even think about when you're thinking about, I just want something lovely on my skin that will help with wrinkles. I mean, it really goes in and helps the health and helps so that 10 years from now you have beautiful skin, not just next couple of months. So I'm really passionate about that because it's harder to talk about. It took me a lot longer to write that one because there were so many research papers that I had to study and verify. But that's Thursdays, and I think it's exciting that there's products that can do that.
Yeah, that's great. We'll have to link that in the show notes
Absolutely.
for that, Debbie, because that sounds like a
Love to.
great
I'd
paper.
love to share this. I'd love to share this. And I use this on my granddaughters. They have issues, and I feel so happy that I have a product that I can put on my granddaughter's eczema.
Exactly.
And, you know, they can
Yeah.
use, they love to because they think it's beautiful. So they're always in there wanting to, where can I put it? And I'm like, go help yourself, you know.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Eczema and psoriasis. Yeah. All of that. That would really
Absolutely.
help. So yeah, so when we talk about zombie cell or senescent cells, that these are
Yes.
like the zombie cells, and what, like you alluded to earlier, just them being in your skin, they're going to cause problems to the cells around them. So it's not
Yes.
like they're just sitting there like hunkered down. They're actually like bothering people around them. Like that person that won't stop talking on the plane and you just want to take a nap. That's right. Like,
Yes. No, that's a great way to
arrow.
describe it. Yes. I should
Yeah.
have talked to you before the blog. That's, but that it is, they spew out bad stuff and
Mm.
damage other cells. So they don't just stay there and, you know, they cause trouble. So we
Yeah.
really need to try to prevent them.
Yeah, so preventing them, and then also you have to remove senescent cells too.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
does GHK-Cu help remove senescent cells
It's
once they're there?
it's more against preventing them, but then when you look at all the things that GHK-Cu does, it has to. I mean, because it's repairing DNA, it's, you know, the things that cause, and one of the ways, I mean, just thinking of free radicals, how much damage it protects your skin from your body from free radicals. It's just unbelievable.
And everyone talks about the sun, but blue light, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
blue light's concerning because we're staring at screens all day. So you
Yes.
also need to protect against that. So
In fact,
that's
I usually have these guys on.
yes.
That's a great point. Blue light, I wear these so much now, and after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I wear the blue blockers, but it does damage you. You know,
Yeah.
you're being damaged. You're right.
Yeah, it's affecting the skin too. So, I mean, we can't wear a mask over our face all day long. So
No.
that's we want to be preventative. And that's the thing with health in general. We need to prevent things. We just can't, in 10 years wake up and be like, okay, like what am I going to do? My skin's crepey. We want to work on preventing all of that.
That is correct. Absolutely.
So that's really important. So I know that GHK-Cu is the copper peptides, core to all your formulas, but are there other ingredients that you have found to help kind of like optimize this peptide?
Yes. Well, as I mentioned on the serum, one of the things I love and one of the ingredients that I wanted to use was brown algae. It protects the skin. I mean, you think about algae being out in the ocean, and it's built up these amazing traits to protect. And so we have brown algae in all our copper peptide products, quite a bit in the serum. Hyaluronic acid. I love hyaluronic acid. It is like, it really hydrates 1,000 times its weight, in moisture. And so the serum and the body, the serum and the moisturizer have hyaluronic acid. We also have natural oils. And one of the body cream is just such a favorite. It has rosemary oil. And rosemary oil helps with circulation, which if you're putting on your legs and you're working on crepe, and it has, there have been research showing it helps with the appearance of crepey skin, which I know that's a hard one. So,
yeah,
excuse me.
It's so hard. With aesthetics, we'll have like reps come in from different companies, and I'm like, okay, like I'll buy whatever machine can fix like my crepey skin from having a 10 ounce baby. And really, there's nothing, because I mean, to some extent, RF microneedling, different lasers can help, but it's a really difficult problem, this crepey skin, and as you age, and it's not only a vanity thing, it's a skin tear issue.
Yes, it is.
When someone can fall, then they get that skin tear, and being in the ER, I would see it all the time, and my mom too, that will happen to her. So I'm excited for her to try the body cream and layer it all over her body and her hands. So when we
will love it.
When we see
my mother is 93, and this product she will not run out of. I mean,
Mhm.
she wants the body cream. She uses all of them, but that's the one I have just this. I need to be sure I don't run out of it because it helps the circulation in her ankles. She says it
Mm.
really makes them, feel better
Well, that
because
would make sense with the mechanisms because it has
right,
that natural, like, anti-inflammatory, like, property too. So yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And it's just doing good.
it
That
is.
like when I don't even like using lotion, but sometimes I have to just use regular lotion. And I usually just end up using like coconut butter and coconut oil, but then I'm like greasy everywhere. But yeah, lotion is it's a tough one because it's just, you're not fixing like, why is your skin dry? You're not really
Correct.
protecting it. So it's good that there's that option out there.
Well, I'm excited for you to try this because this will not feel like a lotion. This is a really it's a really special experience. It has shea butter and it
Mm,
has some other oils, but it really works. And crepey skin is hard, but I had really bad crepey skin and I did not like showing it when I played tennis,
mm.
which you really noticed. But I had very bad crepey skin in this area,
Yeah, when you
just
get it right there.
there.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that is what I started with. And I use the serum. And the other thing that's important is and you mentioned to make the products work better, is to exfoliate. So
Mhm.
I like to exfoliate with lactic acid, and we have that in our cleanser. But any, exfoliating with a chemical exfoliant and then, the physical,
Mhm.
uh, only twice a week with the physical. You don't want to over, but that is how I would scrub off the dead skin cells and then apply the serum and the body cream, and a couple of months. But I mean, I have no crepe in the places I had them, and I have to say, that's what made me such a believer.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what also is cool is our bodies, our body can heal itself. And that's what I tell my patients a lot is you just have to take away the bad stuff and give your
That's
body
right.
the right tools. And that's what's so great about peptides is that it activates your innate ability to heal, not by, doing pharmaceutical things. So speaking of pharmaceuticals, let's talk about retinol,
Yes.
retin A and all of that. And are you a fan of it at all? And does it fit into your skincare routine? And for those that don't know, it's a vitamin A derivative and it increases cell turnover.
Absolutely. And that's important to increase cell turnover. And I have used Retin A and the prescription retinol, Retin A. No, Retin A is the prescription. And I find it irritates my skin. And I know many of my customers share that because you do not use it at the same time you use the copper peptides. You have to wait 30 minutes. You can use them you can use them in the morning, but you have to put the copper peptides, wait 30 minutes, then use the Retin A.
Mhm.
So what I did in all my research is I discovered bakuchiol oil. And bakuchiol oil is a natural retinol alternative. And it actually has many of the same characteristics and the cell turnover. And you can use it at the same, you can apply the serum, then the bakuchiol oil, then your moisturizer and go. You can also use it twice a day, whereas retinol, you really want to use at night primarily because it's so, there's sensitivity to the sun. But
Mhm.
Cuchel is not as sensitive being in the sun. So I love this product and I can feel the dead skin just, coming off when I use it, the cells turning over. And then that allows the copper to do its job when you remove the dead stuff. So although some of my customers still use retinol, but many have said they love this option because they can't use retinol.
Right. So is the bucknell oil, is that safe during pregnancy breastfeeding?
I have read articles where it is. In fact, I made a chart of the, comparing, and I took that off just because that scared me to say that. But I have seen it in many research articles that it is safe.
Okay.
So
Yeah. And maybe not during pregnancy, but breastfeeding, I mean, I think that's big because I have not been able to use like a retinol like product for 11 years, no, 12 years, because I've been either pregnant or breastfeeding. And that's a tough space when
it
you're
is.
going through those because
Absolutely.
So that's another question. Would you recommend the topical GHK-Cu? Have the studies showed that that's okay during pregnancy?
Absolutely. I have seen nothing that it's just not a harmful product. In fact, the only harm would be is if you were allergic to copper.
Right, which,
I've
yeah.
had in 3 years,
Oh,
I've had one person allergic to copper.
right.
And that's
So this is a good point to bring up is, well, especially like women when they're pregnant or breastfeeding, if you're caking all on all this makeup that has parabens in it, I mean, that's going to be doing more harm
absolutely.
too. So, I mean, we really just have to be careful about what we put on our face, but that's really cool. Cause yeah, retin-A and retinol, definitely no pregnant breastfeeding, and you get really red and irritated and
Yes.
sensitive to the sun. What about, I should bring this is actually a good question for those that maybe are getting procedures. So do you have to stop this product, a week before, say, a laser procedure or something like that?
I use it with laser. I actually, in fact, the person who does my laser now orders this product and puts it on everyone after she saw. I would bring my own bottle and
Yes.
I would apply it before, and then she'd get to certain heads on the laser and she said, okay, put some more of that beautiful blue stuff. And then now she started ordering. She says, I use this on everyone now. It's better than what she was using before. So
Yeah.
I use it, and then it's great for healing after laser or microneedling. I've used it with microneedling. It's
Yeah.
great after chemical peels. So, I mean, it's not one of those you have to stop using.
Yeah. Yeah, peptides are, everyone knows I love peptides. When my patients, when we're ready to like start using peptides, because I make sure that their gut health is good. And sometimes I pull out peptides right away, but they know I get excited. I'm like, oh, we can start to use peptides. And because I geek out on it, and they're just like, what? I've never heard of this. And I'm like, it's okay. You'll love it.
You're very fortunate you're bringing them. I had never heard of them 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I had never
Yeah.
heard of them. I mean, I've seen the word peptide, but had no idea of
Yes.
what it would do, what they
Yes.
do.
And a lot of people think they're like, oh, like collagen peptides. And I'm like, no, it's not the same. Those are still good, but it's a different world.
It
So
is.
what about vitamin C? What are your thoughts on, there's a lot of vitamin C serums here, there, everywhere.
Absolutely. And vitamin C is a very delicate molecule, and it's not that stable, so you cannot use it at the same time with a copper peptide. You can separate it again 30 minutes. What I recommend, the vitamin C is in the morning usually, and so put on your serum and let it. The serum actually penetrates really well. They're very small molecules, and our formula, you will feel it just go. It won't sit on top of your skin. You will feel it'll go into your skin, and then apply your vitamin C, or either apply the vitamin C in the morning and the copper peptides at night, but never layer them right on top of each other. Not that it will hurt your skin, but because the vitamin C is not stable, it'll just kind of it's counterproductive to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good to know, because a lot of the times when you're looking at skincare products, they might not go into detail about what is actually absorbed, like
That's
what
correct.
not everything absorbs well. And that's why when you go to compounding pharmacies, sometimes they do have to use certain products that aren't as clean for the absorptions, especially when we're trying to get hormones in. But because this
Oh,
is a
yeah.
peptide, it's a little different.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, do you have any favorite customer stories that you want to share? I know you spoke about your arm story.
Oh, yes, my story. One that the satisfaction of working as hard as I work at this age is the stories and the people that I feel like that I'm touching and are, having an opportunity to try something that they would have known about and they can feel good about. But I had a person recently, a customer that had been using the product, and she said, I never really had good skin when I was young. I never got compliments on my skin. And she said, here I'm in my 50s, which I don't think is old because I'm much older than that. And she said, and I am now getting compliments on my skin from using the products. And that made me, I was like tearing up when she said that. And then I have another customer who, she lives in Atlanta. She actually drove over to show me this horrible place on her leg. She's a real sun lover, real sun lover.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a keratosis. She was getting nervous about, and she started putting the serum, like putting the serum on it. And after like 2 weeks, it was gone, just flat. So she drove over just to show me. And I just thought, oh, I love it. I love to see how this product works, how this, as you said, this peptide works. So it helped her body heal.
Yes. Yeah. And it repaired DNA, like you were saying, it actually, it repairs, it heals. It's not just, you know, sitting there plumping things. It's actually helping DNA. So that's what's awesome. I love it. I love it. So what are your other favorite peptides that you use on a regular basis? I can tell you.
I love it. Yeah, I want to hear yours too. I think I shared the Tessamorelin. I love because I'm a weightlifter. And I just feel this extra push when I'm weightlifting. I mean, I only use it 5 days on, 2 days off, and I rotate it then with the CJC epimorelin. You know, I don't use it, but I just like things that help your body perform better, I guess. And so that's one of my favorite. And the BPC 157, because of the pain I would not be playing tennis without the BPC 157. And I actually kept my dog, the last year of its life, I kept my dog out of a lot of pain in the joints because I would inject it. So that's one of my favorites for that reason.
That's amazing. Aw, and your poor dog, your dog passed.
She passed, but her last year was much better because that shoulder, and she could do walks. And if we were not injecting, you know, it calmed the inflammation down. And I didn't have to worry about it hurting her or harming her.
Right, right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, right. So did you get that from the same compounding? Because most compounding pharmacies compound for pets too.
We did, and adjusted for the weight. And
amazing.
I mean, I am pushing on everybody. I'm like you, when they have their gut, you know, if they have the gut, the BPC 157 is also great for gut issues.
Yeah, yeah, and you can get this. You can get some of them. I don't know if you know Dr. Kent Hurltoff. So he has a company that you can get it online. It's great. So yeah, BPC 157. I love that. So oral, if you take it orally by mouth, helps the gut health. Okay. Right. And it's actually, it was found and isolated from gastric cells. So BPC 157. And really for me, that one, I feel like every GI doctor should be prescribing that before a PPI, a protein pump inhibitor.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
I go crazy. Like I had this patient and she had like gut problems, and before she could get in to see me, she went and saw this GI practitioner, and she said the visit was 5 minutes and they just gave me a script for a PPI or for Nexium or whatever. And I'm like, did you fill it? And she's like, no. And I'm like, good, because it's a pain to get people off of those. But low hanging fruit. So yeah, BPC 157 is a star of a peptide. So I'll use it. I keep it in my fridge. And when my husband throws out his back, I do some. I like do trigger point injections with it.
Yes.
It's helping, like one of my kids sprained her ankle, and then like, you know, we help. So it's so good. So it's helping healing tendons, it's healing injuries, body protection complex. So it's amazing. So yes, I agree with you on that. I've even prescribed it for patients with dry eyes and eye problems. So BPC eye drops are great too.
I did not. Now I need to get that for my mother. I did not know. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it works amazing. It's really good. And same thing, it's anti-inflammatory, it's healing. There's actually, there was a study on it with cataracts that I found. So, because I was seeing if it would work in glaucoma for a patient I have, and we might try it, but it definitely, there's an actual research paper of BPC 157 eye drops post cataract.
I am on that one. I am so
glad. I mean, it's so fun. And then CJC, epimorelin.
Thymosin alpha is
well, that one's kind of gone. So thymosin alpha-1 was one of my favorite until the FDA took it away because it's now a $40,000 drug. So but
I still have some.
But you can get it in places. So yeah, so that's a great one. And what that does is it's a thymic peptide, helps with the immune system. And there's an oral formula I've been using, Thymogen alpha-1.
Oh yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so that one's great for autoimmune problems, and I'll put patients on that. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, Mont-C is a good one. I haven't used that personally.
I haven't either. I've heard about it and I've read about it, but I have not.
Yeah. But I we named a cat after it just to be silly. And then what am I forgetting that we always have? Well, we have the BPC 157 cream. We just have that as a cream, BPC 157 KVP cream, and I'll massage that into joint pains. I like BPC 157 synapsin or RG3. So that's another one. I keep that in the fridge in case one of my kids gets a concussion.
Oh, great. That's great.
It's good for neuroinflammation. Yeah. So there's a few that I just like, I'm glad I have. They're just little extra biohack. It's almost like biohacking, just to help your body heal. So I think that I get so excited like you about peptides, and there's so many. They're so fun. I could talk forever.
They are fun. I agree. When something's helping you daily, and they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I had never injected myself till 4 or 5 years ago.
Before that,
but had ever thought of doing that. And, when I started seeing Dr. Turner, that became something. If you want to, your blood work to be, all these things that we're working on, if you need, are you serious about this? And I'm like, okay, where do I do this? And now it's like, I order needles in bulk, the bulk needles, and every morning, do the injections. NAD. What about NAD?
Oh, yes. So NAD plus is what the compounding pharmacy, some people say it's changed their lives. There's just other energy. I like 5-amino-1-MQ instead for patients.
Okay.
The problem with the NAD plus is that you have to be careful, because if you do shoot it into a little blood vessel in your subcutaneous tissue, then you will be like, woof. You will get like a rush, the compounding pharmacist warned me about that. So you have to pull back, on that one. But some people, that's life-changing for mitochondrial health. I like 5-amino-1-MQ. It's just an oral capsule for patients that don't want to take shots, and it has that little bit of lipolysis action, decreases cravings, increases energy. So yeah, that's another one I always have in my house. But yeah, so NAD or NAD plus is great. Also, some people
can use it in the nose. Also, there's a nose spray if you don't want to inject it. So
I've not used that formulation yet. So have you used the nasal spray?
At the compound pharmacy, they have that. You can actually buy that, or drops. They have drops. So they do. There are other ways other than injecting.
I'll have to try out the actual.
I actually inject, and the rush doesn't bother me. I do.
Yeah.
It makes my afternoons better.
Yes. You get that drag in the afternoons. Yeah. It's a fun world, and I love it when with peptides. The only negative in peptides is sometimes the cost.
The cost.
But if you're feeling better, you just have to start using them, I think, and then people get into it. One that I will start using when I'm all done with my breastfeeding journey is Epitalon.
Talk about sleep.
That's longevity, helps with sleep. Yeah. So
it helps twice a year. My husband and I use that twice a year.
Yes, that's exactly what I do.
20 or 40 days. I have it down there, but I can't wait till I get to use it again, because the sleep, what it does for your sleep is like nothing. And I do a lot of things for my sleep, but I'm glad you brought that one up. Epitalon is wonderful, and it is for longevity.
Yeah, it's longevity, and it increasing
Lengthens
telomeres.
telomeres, yes.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It is pricier peptide, but yes, it's only like once or twice a year. But it's hard to like get people to invest in that when they don't know the science. And just tell them, trust me, it's going to increase your telomeres. So that one's a little bit harder, but it's good to know you sleep well on it.
Oh, it absolutely. Both of us saw the difference in sleep. So,
Cool.
and then I researched it. I was really doing it for longevity. That was my, and then I started having some other, I felt good on it. And so I said, this is doing some other things. And of course, when you sleep better, everything's better.
You heal. Yeah.
So, and then rapamycin, that's not really a peptide, but that's another, one, talk about longevity. It's small dose.
Yes. So, Dr. Morgan Camp, he actually, I just interviewed him in the last podcast, and he is pretty much an expert in rapamycin. He does a great job. Are you on that biohack?
I take one small amount once a week, and I've been on it for 3 years. And that's when I know I have my telomeres.
You're all in for longevity. Do you do like 2.5 milligrams?
Yes, that's exactly
2.5. Okay.
Once a week.
So everyone will have to listen to that podcast from 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So rapamycin, anti-aging, and that's a medication. So it's not technically a peptide, but that's going to inhibit mTOR.
Yes.
And it's really cool. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I'm a little like, when my breastfeeding journey's done, I'll be a little sad, but then I'll be like, I'm going to get to do all this biohacking.
That's right.
That I just like, I haven't been able to do. And he doesn't nurse a lot. He's going to be 4. I'm an extended breastfeeder, but some of the biohacking I've had to lay low on because I'm not going to, take rapamycin while I'm breastfeeding. So it's, I'm excited to
look out there for the future.
Yes, it's something to look forward to, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. So I didn't know you did all this other fun.
I do, yes. Well, I had to sit, I was sitting here thinking, because when you were talking about it, I only thought 2 or 3, and I thought, no, I do more than that every morning. I have I have a stash of peptides and wonderful things. And the rapamycin, it's not anything you feel, but you feel good knowing what you're doing.
Right.
And that you're really helping with your longevity. And
right. What? The
health. It's like living long sounds wonderful, but if I'm not healthy, take me now. So living healthy and long is really what I think peptides do.
Yes. And you said you were 67?
67.
Yes. And you're running a company right now, like full on, that's amazing. And that's like where I want to be. I want to be, in 25 years, like I want to be just like ramped up, kicking butt still. So
you can. And you started way before. I didn't start till 65 or 64.
Wow.
I'm confident I would not have the energy to do this. I work 12-hour days, many days, and I would not have the energy to do this if I were not a biohacker.
Exactly.
That's it.
And for all of you out there thinking like, well, all this stuff is expensive. Well, go back and watch my videos. There's stuff that's not expensive you can do, like fasting. That increases
intermittent fasting.
Yes. There are so many things that like are free too, that people, they don't see. But if you think about it, if you're skipping breakfast and lunch, you're saving money. Put that money towards peptides, right?
That's right.
So sometimes I think about that. Yeah. Cause just as I age, I play around with the fasting, and I do some longer fasts during my follicular phase, that first half of the cycle. And so I'm not affecting my progesterone. And I'm like, wow, I'm saving a lot of money, like not eating. Cause I eat grass-fed food and like healthy, things. But I think about that in my head. I'm like, okay, well, this is good, cause I spend a lot of money on biohacking. So it's all about balance, but definitely if you guys listening out there can find an integrative practitioner that is up with peptides, that knows what they're doing, you could really geek out, and it's so much fun. And I do want to say though, that peptides and as Debbie kind of alluded to, she cycles through peptides. So
Right.
if you're on someone that is not giving you breaks, like semaglutide, you know, they're just, people are being put on semaglutide, which is a peptide 24/7. They're
For
like,
weight loss, correct? That's
yes,
right.
yes. And some of these places are telling people you're never going to be able to get off of it. And so that's not good. That's a red flag, because you should cycle every peptide, including semaglutide. You need to take breaks from it. And if you're gaining all that weight back after you're off of it, then that means you're not optimized elsewhere. You probably should have started with BPC 157 to fix your gut and then tried it. But
Well, you
I,
have to let your receptors rest. I mean, that was my understanding.
yeah,
You can't just, you know, you
I
got to give it a
agree.
break.
Yeah,
So
or you'll
I
have some consequences. Yeah, and I'll have patients are like, I want to stay on CJC, you know, year round. And I'm like, no, you got to, like, let's do 3 months. Let's take a break for a month and then back on it.
that's
Yeah,
what I do. And so I feel like it's because I have a good, I have a good regenerative medicine specialist
yes,
guiding.
yes.
I would not feel comfortable doing all this on my own
Right, right.
other
Well,
than
and it's
GHK.
good to meet people like you out there so we can talk about this stuff. Actually, that brings up a good question. So the copper peptides, do people need to take a break from this routine or not? Because I just spoke about taking a break.
That's a very good question. I have not. I would think you would let your skin, in this case, tell you, like, if you're feeling like maybe I need to give it a break. And sometimes I will just, like, for a day, use just the moisturizer,
Mhm.
because I think, okay, I may be, you just how your skin feels. But I don't think, I have not seen that be the case. In fact, I inject GHK, but I only do it a couple of times a year. Like,
Mhm.
that's a little different,
Yes, exactly.
that's
Yeah.
that's different, because I think you need to let your receptors rest.
Yeah, topically is different. So
Topically is different. Although it does, one of the beauties is that the molecules are small, and they do, penetrate into the epidermis to
mhm.
go into the epidermal cells and make a change. So I had to be sure that it did that, and it does that, but it's not like, you know, into your muscles, like having
Right.
an injection with a needle.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I'm like, that's a question that people are going to be wondering, I bet.
Right.
So thank you so much, Debbie. This was so
Thank
fun
you.
to
I've
chat with
enjoyed this
you.
so much, and I
I
learned a lot
know.
from you. Thank you for sharing. I'm
Oh,
gonna get those eye drops.
yes, yes. Let me know how that goes with your mom, and tell everyone where to find your beautiful products and
Okay.
where to find your blog. And
It's vitaliskincare.com. And if they use the I believe, is it Jenny?
Dr. Jen, yeah.
Dr. Jen, excuse me, Dr. Jen code, they can save 20%.
Amazing.
So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm so excited. We're carrying your products in our med spa too, and we're going to incorporate them in post procedure also. So it's really exciting. I'm so glad that I found out about your awesome skincare company, and knowing that there's people like me out there that like to biohack, because sometimes I feel alone in the
Oh, I
Midwest.
understand. That's why I've enjoyed this so much. You
Yeah.
do this, and I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
thank you so
awesome.
much. And
Thank you so
if
much.
anybody has questions, or you have questions, shoot them my way.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And I will drop all the links in the
Okay.
show notes today.
Thank you.
Thank you.